So before we start today, I know I was supposed to be watching Up, but I'm in a very bad emotional state right now because a few things happened. So I need to lighten my own personal mood. So we are going to watch one of the best movies ever made, starring a national treasure. We start the movie National Treasure with a young Nicolas Cage in his basement with his grandpa. That has some severe implications that something bad has happened in that basement, and that's probably why Nicolas Cage's dad hates Nicolas Cage's grandpa. And there's this long story about a treasure that's hidden, and even the Knights Templar weren't able to protect it. So the Knights Templar, in true fashion, are like, we need to take it home and keep it for ourselves for purely altruistic reasons, as we're the only ones who can keep it safe, and we're not going to spend it on booze and lady favors. And then we cut to probably 30 years later in the future, where Nicolas Cage is on an Arctic expedition to find a ship that nobody was able to find in the past 300 years, but quickly finds it, pours a little water bottle on top of it, and the mystery's been solved, the 1,000-year mystery, to find the next mystery, to find the national treasure. And they find a scroll that Nick Cage immediately knows is the sacred blood ritual of the Knights Templar, to find another riddle, to another scroll, to find the thing, to find another thing that will eventually lead to the treasure that we're looking for. And then after finding all the secrets from this historical ship, they decide that they should bring it home to a museum. But the bad guy is like, no, nobody's allowed to have it anymore. So they blow up the ship, leaving the Americans behind, as is a tradition for any British aristocrat. And after trying to warn the FBI, the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of the Interior, and the Department of the Postmaster General, they go to where the location of the Declaration of Independence is and proceed to try to tell the director of the museum that someone is trying to steal the Declaration of Independence by informing them that they want to see the Declaration of Independence because there's a treasure map on the back of it, and they totally don't want to steal the Declaration of Independence. They just want to see it for a little bit, please. I really need to. And the woman has every right to be suspicious, even though Nick Cage is totally spitting game at her in the process using some historical coins that are in the background. But no, Nick Cage, if you ever see this video anytime in the future, please spit game to me like you spat game to that woman. I would love it. It's just like me wanting to stare into Zac Efron's eyes. I want to stare into your eyes and give you sound tax advice that nobody else in your life has ever given to you. It is not a financially sound opportunity to buy an island. No matter how rich you are, it is never smart to buy an island. Otherwise, you're going to be making dead-end movie after dead-end movie until you wind up with Pay the Ghost. And nobody ever wants to end up with Pay the Ghost. And then they start planning on stealing the Declaration of Independence, and Riley's a little punk who already wants to back out anyway, and he starts explaining to them like, oh man, we can't do it, it's impossible. But Nick Cage has already got a plan. It's called the Preservation Room. It's where they repair the Declaration of Independence, and that's the exact place that they're going to steal the Declaration of Independence, so the bad guys don't steal the Declaration of Independence, and that's how the heist starts, which is exactly what you come for when you're watching National Treasure. Then you see Nick Cage immediately get distracted by the white woman in power as he goes to spit more mad game at her, which in turn kind of ruins the entire rest of the heist because it's making her immediately suspicious, because no white woman can be given a gift without thinking that there's some type of ulterior motive said behind that gift. And they would be right. And now my friend Mikey B on the beat wants to talk to you about a very minor part of this film that he is passionate about.
Isn't it insane that when they're at the gala, Nick Cage has the audacity to look this chick in the eyes and essentially say what he's planning on doing without actually saying it? It is the most bold thing I've seen in this movie so far. It's wild. He's just like talking about the traitors and George Washington and the fact that they're all traitors, but we understand that they're not traitors. They just had to stand up for what's right for the country. Kind of like what I'm doing. Wink, wink.
And he's able to make it out of the building with the Declaration of Independence by paying for a replica, in heavy quotation marks, of the Declaration of Independence. And that makes them very aware that he was there in the building because he used a Visa credit card. Congratulations on the writers of National Treasure for making the marketing budget of the movie plot relevant to this movie, because it's a huge reason why they catch Nicolas Cage. And after they leave and give the nice lady a fake copy of the Declaration of Independence, they get shot at, and there's live gunfire in front of the museum. And I can't help to think that they've gotten away. Scot-free is what I'm saying. They've gotten away. There's a live shooter situation in front of the building where they stole the Declaration of Independence. Nobody even knew that you were there at the time. You've done all the steps. They've made it easier for you to get away. You should have just left. My God, you should have just left. Oh man, there's one casualty, some poor lady, but you get to leave with the Declaration of Independence. You've got it made, Banks. There is nothing easier in life than what you're going through right now. It's a sweet deal, and I guess here's Mikey with another thing.
So Nicolas Cage's dad gets super pissy because his son is obsessed with the treasure that their whole family has been obsessed with for centuries. And for centuries, the Gates family knew one clue. No one had any headway on it. A single clue for a treasure. His son actually found where that clue led. The first one to find a single clue. So it confirms the existence of a treasure that this guy wasn't even sure existed. And his first word to his son is, oh, and that'll lead to another clue. Then another clue. What clues did you find, sir? You didn't even find the one. How are you going to start criticizing when you and your loser family couldn't come through for 2 centuries? Die.
And they find the cipher on the back of the Declaration of Independence that requires the silenced dogwood letters, and Nicolas Cage's dad can only think about how much trouble he's going to be with them bringing a national document into his house, and he knows he can't survive a federal prison at his age. They will break him like a lumberjack breaking down a tree. And then we see them learn more and more clues about where this national treasure is, and they're talking about the Liberty Bell, and of course Nicolas Cage, and insert some random woman here, have immediately deciphered the entire code because, again, they're the smartest person in the room all the time. They have to prove that they're smarter than Riley in every single moment. I mean, shoot, they even look at a $100 bill to see what the specific time the shadow passes Liberty Hall. Did they even have that specific type of $100 bill in 1776? Who knows? Of course it's changed multiple times. They don't take in account for small things like the change in U.S. currency. And of course, now we have to go to the Liberty Bell because this movie has to hit every aspect of American history. And then we're gonna blow up the Liberty Bell. And eventually we're gonna head to Mount Rushmore and the whole 9 yards, because don't forget that this movie is truly, truly about America. And America stands for a select few individuals holding an extreme amount of wealth hostage that doesn't belong to them, but in fact belongs to the general public. Then the FBI get involved, and they ruin everything like they always do. A Brit threatens to shred the document, and they do this whole thing where Gates goes to meet him, and then Gates gets away, and the FBI are like, oh my God, what'd we do? How'd we mess this up? And it's like, you're the FBI. You mess up everything you possibly can. And here, for another bit, is Mikey.
Yes, the day is saved by Nicolas Cage. And his dad, who essentially tried to disown him, now is like, wow, look at what you did, son. You're so smart and awesome that you found this treasure. You sit amongst the greatest minds. Piss off, grifter. Oh, now you want a piece of the pie after you gave him lip literally 20 minutes before you found the treasure? There'll be another clue to, wow, you did it, my special favorite boy. He's like Bobby Boucher's dad at the end of Waterboy. Once his son wins the Mud Bowl, all of a sudden he comes back like, hey, Bobby, it's me, yo daddy, Roboito. You're a disgrace!
And we see them figure out all the clues and find the national treasure, and the day is saved by Nicolas Cage. And the bad guy gets thrown in jail, but none of that matters. What truly matters is that we learn that the treasure is here in America for all of you to find. You just need to be able to find the clues. There's not just one national treasure. There's about 23 national treasures, as America's so greedy that we've started stealing everyone else's national treasures.
Wait. We stole it from the British, who originally stole it from the original owners, so technically, we're the good guys.
That's correct. We are the heroes in our own story. Follow the clues, because I can't believe I haven't seen them before. I mean, I see them all around us. Mount Rushmore, the Grand Canyon. You think that giant hole in the ground is naturally forming? Insane. Yellowstone National Park, Old Faithful. You think geysers are real? Wake up, sheeple. It's just a clue. We'll figure it out like Dan Brown did when he wrote the Da Vinci Code. We'll figure out that all the treasure comes from the one source, the Vatican. And we'll go to the Vatican and find out that it leads us to Egypt. And then we'll go to Egypt and realize that it's always been here, somewhere in America. And then we realize that the national treasure has never actually been in America. Why would we hold it so close to us? That makes no sense. We would hold it in a country that has a close relationship to us. A country that holds us in such contempt because we use them as a storage space. It's always been a storage space to us. We, the American people, must find the treasure our ancestors left up in the great maple leaf up north. It's all undiscovered territory for us here. We need to manifest destiny our way to the north because it's what we deserve. We will take Canada for our own, and then we will move forward and onward, and everything shall be our national treasure.
We ain't giving it back.
And this has been Spiral Tree Entertainment. If you liked this video, please leave us with a like, a comment, and a subscribe down below. And make sure to follow Mikey B on the Beat on Instagram. Link in the description down below. And we will see you next time.